What's up, everyone, and Merry Christmas. I hope you are enjoying the day, if it is a day that you celebrate, and if it's not, then happy every other day of the year. Today we're going to finish up the 12 Days of the Dawning, and apparently I forgot to upload the other part yesterday, like I meant to. That was fun. But that's there, so you can watch that, and then here we go. We got our last ones. From the Dawning Delights. What are the Awoken? Not in the sense of how did they come to be. I don't care about that any more than I care about the Cabal or the Fallen. As far as I'm concerned, the universe decided it wanted them, so it made them, so who am I to question the universe? I've heard people talk about Petra and the Tangled Shore lately. It's very confusing. Roped together rocks, and you just jump between them. It's no wonder that reef-born Awoken are so often suspicious of others if they grow up unable to trust the ground. But the Awoken as a whole, I feel, my grasp of them has certainly grown, but there are things I still don't understand. There are certain parts of what we would consider humanity, just as much as humans or exos. I don't know this and believe it, but what makes it so? Is it because they are made like we are? The Cabal are built roughly as we are, but we don't consider them part of humanity. Is it our shared relationship with the Traveler? It's as hard as it is to believe. I've heard that the Fallen and human relationship with a Traveler, but they're not part of humanity. Does humanity consider only those who walk among humans? By that logic, reef-born Awoken who remain in the reef are not part of humanity. I don't believe that's true, and yet Petra has spent most of her life in the reef, hasn't she? I know she was here playing emissary for a while, but she's considered the reef to be part of her true home. Would she describe herself as part of humanity? I think if you walked up to Petra and asked, "Are you a member of humanity?" she would respond, "I am an Awoken of the reef." If you pressed her further, she said yes. She would say, "Yes, but which side are you on?" I believe she would say, "The side of Queen Mara Sov." So then, is humanity something we choose? Or is it ascribed to you? Is it a title to be earned, or a birthright, or a heritage? Are the Awoken part of humanity due to one of those stipulations, or could it be that the Awoken are part of humanity because of all the stipulations? Individually, these ideas don't define humanity any more than a cloak defines a hunter, but collectively, that they are built as we are, that they share a relationship with the Traveler, and that many of them gladly walk among us here on Earth. Maybe that is what makes them part of humanity. Everything bound together just as we are all bound together. That togetherness is what helped us win the Red War, and truly believe it will help us. Oh, and I truly believe it will help us push back the darkness for good. Never forget that our unity is what makes us strong, and that the Awoken will always be part of that. Man, she does not trust the Awoken at all. Like at all. Like zero trust. Like, why do we even associate with these chuckle fucks? It's kind of wild, man. I don't know. Makes me question whether or not the Awoken are really our friends or not. You know what I'm saying? You get used to him. There is a strange fellow who, well, perhaps you've seen him. He doesn't really come and go as you and I might traditionally think. It's more that you turn around and he's either there or he's not. His appearances are steadily predictable, at least. He's called Zur. I'm not sure why one draws the tiny arrow over his name, but it's important to know and respect the wishes of those who we don't understand. The first time I ever saw Zur, I was by myself at my stall in the tower, the old tower, I suppose you'd call it now, and I hadn't been there long at all. I looked up, and there was a man that appeared seemingly out of nowhere. His back was to me, but even from behind, something seemed off. Something in his posture. He started to turn, and I noticed his whole face appeared to be covered in hair. It even seemed to be moving, gently flowing on its own, but there was no wind. When the light hit his face, I screamed and ducked behind my cabinets. I was sure this abomination had come to invade us, and that more of them were just out of sight, and we were done for. Eventually, I realized no one else was screaming. I heard no sounds of distress. I peeked out Saw everyone was going about their business and no one was panicking but me. Many people saw him, several were interacting with him. Slowly I stood back up and I tried to go about my business, though I rarely looked away. Tess came over before too long and I asked her about the strange figure. Oh, that's Zur, she said, unconcerned. He comes through every so often and sells particular hard to find things. She considered him for a moment and then added, could do with a bit of a wardrobe update if you ask me, but otherwise, he's harmless. What is he? I asked. I've never seen a creature like that before. Zur is, I believe he's called a Hovian. They're from out beyond the reef. I'm afraid I don't know much else about them, but they're friendly? Yeah, well, they don't attack us, if that's what you mean. I don't know if that I'd call Zur friendly, but he's not hostile. I felt more at ease through our conversations, even though I still could not shake my fear. For many months, I jumped every time I saw him and had to fight back the instinct to hide. Eventually, I grew used to his presence and began to appreciate his predictability. This became a symbol of everything that everything was functioning as it should. The fear evaporated with time. I've often found my first reaction to new things is fear. Perhaps it is this way with everyone. However, I've also found that if I accept and acknowledge my fear, it's easier to push through until I am no longer afraid. And the new things are almost never as frightening as I first feared. That's a beautiful message right there at the end. Well, that wraps up all the Dawning lore. I hope you enjoyed the 12 days of the Dawning as much as I enjoyed doing it. It's been a fun journey to learn a little bit more about the background of everybody in the lore books, and you know, part of me really wants to kind of go through all these books and try and maybe read all of them. It could be freaking awesome. I imagine that it actually is super duper awesome. So we're gonna have to. But yeah, I appreciate you. Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching. Thank you for taking this amazing journey through this crazy year. We'll do a year-end wrap-up video sometime soon. I don't know if it's going to be highlights or just me talking, but I'm excited about it and keep an eye out for it. And I love and appreciate you. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.